Hello,
Hey,
we're back.
it's us again.
It's been a busy week.
It's been a
Um,
very busy week for both of us.
yeah, we got a few key things to talk about.
Yes.
Black Widow,
Black
the
Widow.
Loki finale,
Yes.
but a couple of more important things to talk about.
I don't know about more important, just more pressing in my life specifically.
It's
Um,
we got to vent sometimes about the things that we experience.
I don't know. This is okay. So, in the past 3 days, I've watched 5 movies. Um, four of which I genuinely enjoyed, and one of which was the worst movie I've ever seen in my lifetime. And that's not me exaggerating, like, oh, this is just another bad movie. No, I was legitimately miserable the whole time. Um, and surprisingly to anybody who knows the movie Pink Flamingos, Pink Flamingos was not the worst movie I've ever seen in my lifetime.
What was the worst one you've ever seen?
The worst one I've ever seen is a little piece of garbage called Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance. It is a cash in on a bad movie that I had seen. Well, it was a bad movie that came out in 1991, and they made a 2015 cash in on it because it gained a small cult following for being a bad movie. But they leaned too hard into it being bad,
Yeah,
so it was intentionally bad to the point where I was miserable the
you,
whole time.
you can't fake it.
And it was no, you cannot fake a bad movie.
Yeah,
It has to be natural. Like if you watch even Samurai Cop, which was in retrospect, I think I was a little harsh on it. Samurai Cop, um, because looking back on it, there was a lot of funny stuff in it, and just really bizarre low budget movie tropes that are great. Um, and the main actors are just could not give less of a shit. Samurai Cop himself at one point, I'm sure that at some point we'll sit down and watch the first one at least. Um, but at one point in the movie, Samurai Cop is a guy with long hair, and at some point during production, he cut his hair, and so
yeah,
the rest of his scenes are filmed with a wig, and it is the worst wig I've ever seen.
yeah.
It's terrible.
Fan four stick style.
Yes, it is very reminiscent of Fan Four Stick. And the other actor, I think his name is like Thomas Washington, something along those lines. He plays Samurai Cop's partner. He couldn't give a shit throughout the whole thing, and half the time he's looking right into the camera. Like he'll do like reaction shots, like right into the camera, looking real goofy. And so the people that made Samurai Cop 2, they sat down, they watched Samurai Cop 1 and said, "Oh, we can do this." And so there are times where that character, they make him blatantly look into the camera and do like a crazy reaction thing, which is not funny because it's not him doing it. You're forcing that moment.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not the same.
it's not natural. It's such a janky ass horrible movie, and it's miserable. It's a miserable time. I do not recommend it.
I didn't plan on watching it, but
I I don't plan on making you watching it because that means I would have to watch it too, and I don't want to do that to myself again.
oh, we'll see.
Oh God, I don't know. I'll watch Samurai Cop again. Um, real quick, we can just blow through the ones that I've seen
Yeah,
recently. I watched Star Trek 2 and 3, Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock.
good movies.
Wrath of Khan is incredible. That's such a wonderful movie.
Legendary.
Yes, literally a legendary movie. Um, I wasn't a big fan of the uniforms they wear, the the kind of like royal looking uniforms, but they grew on me.
Yeah,
Um, and then Search for Spock the whole time they're just sort of in like casual clothes, which I thought was kind of cool.
yeah, because
Except
they're
for
going
Uhura.
rogue.
Yeah, they're going rogue, which is neat.
I like it.
And it's funny to see like all these old people sort of commandeer a spaceship. Um, Two very enjoyable movies. Very good movies. Traditionally good movies. What you think of when you think of a good movie.
Yeah.
And then I watched a movie called Miami Connection, which was '87, which is not a traditionally good movie, but is a incredibly enjoyable movie. It's similar to Samurai Cop, but a little bit easier to watch. Oh, another thing I would like to mention about Samurai Cop 2, not to go back to dogpiling on that
That's okay.
horrible movie. Samurai Cop was shot on film, and anything that's shot on film is a little bit nicer to look at than anything that's shot on lazy digital.
Yeah.
And Samurai Cop 2 was lazy digital. It was bad. But Miami Connection was also done in film because it was 87. And that is it's about a band who's like one of their members is a taekwondo master, and they all sort of do taekwondo, but he's like the best at it. And there's another band that's also a gang of biker ninjas who hangs out with an unaffiliated gang who's not like a band or anything. There's a different like gang. And so these two gangs just sort of hang out, and they hate this band because the unaffiliated gang, his sister is dating the bassist, and the ninja biker gang, who's also a band, they were playing at the venue that the new band is playing at before. Like, they had like a tenure there, but they got replaced by these guys. So they hate them. So the whole time, both of these gangs are sort of like stalking this band and like beating the shit out of, like, well, trying to beat the shit out of them for no reason, basically, over like over a booking dispute is what this whole movie boils down to. And in the end, there is an incredible display of brutal violence that comes out of nowhere, preceded immediately by a little, I guess, a message at the end that says, like, only through world peace can we eliminate violence. Not 5 minutes before this, we watched a man decapitate someone with a samurai sword. We watched our heroes of the film go on a murder rampage.
That's
and
amazing.
Then a few minutes later, it's like, oh, by the way, world peace or whatever. Thanks for your ticket money. Go fuck yourself. But it's
Look, I respect
it's awesome. I guess I kind of respect it, but I mean, at the same, don't, if you're gonna lean into violence. Don't make me feel bad for it afterwards.
You asshole.
You motherfucker.
You enjoyed
you like
all that violence.
You like violence, you
bitch.
fuck.
Oh man.
And then, literally moments ago, I just finished Pink Flamingos, which is a 1972 John Waters film. And anybody who knows this movie, it is notoriously the most filthy movie of all time. It actually has, I bought the DVD off Amazon. It's the first movie I've ever seen that's NC-17.
Oh shit.
Yes. I was surprised. I figured it was just a very hard R, but it's actually NC-17. And there is several dicks and many boobs that you see in the movie. And it's all shot very disgustingly. There's a scene at the very end where the main character, who's like a 300-pound drag queen named Divine, eats real dog shit. And it's real. Like, you see the dog shit it, and then she eats it. And it's nasty. And that's just right at the end. I don't want to give too much away, because I do want to sit down and... It sounds bad. It's really not all that bad throughout.
Bad. It sounds bad.
That's the worst of it right at the end. And I sort of looked away because I didn't want to see it. But everything else in the movie's pretty handleable. But that's one that, I don't know. I like it. It's intentionally rough. Like, it was made with the intent to shock. And I mean, that's nothing new for a John Waters movie, but what's strange is, like, this movie was made in 1972 and it got a theatrical release. It was like a midnight movie, famously. And it's just, I can't even imagine seeing this in a theater with people. I watched it in my living room and was still looking around like, is this really fucking happening? Like, are we doing this? In my living room. So I can't imagine a modern theater going audience seeing some of the things in that movie.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jackson. I don't want to watch that film.
You don't have to watch it.
I won't.
You don't have to watch it at all. That'll just sit on my shelf in my room, and you don't ever have to watch it.
That's good. Thank you.
I'm sure I will watch it again because I do thoroughly enjoy it, in spite of all its nastiness.
Oh man. Well,
But you don't ever have to watch it because I understand that I'm a fucking weirdo.
that's it. You know, everyone's.
Oh,
got,
I know.
Everyone's
I
got
know.
their interests.
That's not. You're okay. That's not my interest by far. It's just an extreme gross out movie that I think is funny because there are some legitimately funny moments in it, but the grossness is definitely a large part of it. And it was shot in 1972 on like a $50 budget, so it looks like shit, kind of.
Yeah.
Like John Waters himself is clearly working the camera, and he's not good at stabilizing a shot very well, so the camera's always sort of moving. And when characters are talking, like say there'll be a scene where there's a woman at a desk and a woman at a couch, and you know when the woman at the couch is about to start a monologue, because halfway through the woman at the desk's like last line, the camera will start to zoom in on the woman on the couch, and then you know when her monologue's about to end because the camera will then zoom out again to reframe the shot so that they're both there. It's one of those, but I liked it.
I've never been a big fan of like gross out stuff, even more mainstream stuff like South Park.
I don't blame you.
I'm just not
Well,
like
South Park's just boring.
just boring.
I don't like South Park. I
Wow.
guess not boring, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big South Park fan.
I feel like at this like back in like the 90s or whenever that started, I guess I could see it because that was unusual. Because all you had was cable TV, so seeing something like
Yeah.
South Park was like, oh my god, are they allowed to do this? But now it's like, I see worse shit than South Park on the internet all the time.
Oh yeah.
So like, what good is
yeah.
South Park anymore? What service does it provide?
Trey Parker and Matt Stone get a check every week.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Money.
it. Money
That's it.
for those boys.
Yeah. And they
Um,
get to make fun of hot button political topics in real time, basically, because they make. Well, I know they used to make a show a week, so they could, if there was something big, they could hit it that week and be like, "Oh, we'll do an episode about, X thing or Y." Like, I'm sure they did some sort of like Avengers Endgame episode when that was all happening, and I'm sure it was not funny.
painfully unfunny.
I'm sure it was just as horrible to watch as I've seen 3 legitimately enjoyable episodes of South Park. There's the baseball one where they play summer baseball because I played summer baseball and that shit sucked and they hated it too, so they made fun of it the whole time. There's the WWE one, which is just funny because the WWE. I like WWE, and it's a big fucking goofball thing, and they really take that to an extreme. And I can't remember the third one, so maybe there's actually only 2 enjoyable episodes of South Park.
Perhaps 3 enjoyable episodes, 2 memorable episodes.
Yes, 2 memorable for me at least. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that likes Pink Flamingos, so maybe I'm not the best judge of what's good and what's not. But you know,
Yeah. And in more mainstream
yes,
bad movie
I'm done.
news.
I'm done talking about my weirdo, my
That's
little
okay.
weirdo films now.
We're here to talk about the things that we see.
Oh, absolutely.
I just watched Space Jam, the new one.
How
Space
was
Jam:
that?
A New Legacy, I think.
What a stupid name.
Yeah. I saw someone talking about how the name puts a lot of pressure on the movie to like be
What
something.
pressure?
Because it's called A New Legacy, so it's like it puts a lot of pressure on the film to be something, I guess.
If you're out there betting on the fucking Space Jam movie to be something, you deserve to lose.
Okay, but the thing is, I don't think the first one was anything. Is like so like the implication there is like it has to be something the way the first one was something, but I don't think
The first one was something in the same way that Who Framed Roger Rabbit was something, in the fact that it was more of like, oh, look at this neat. Those movies are very premise driven, and the
yeah.
premise is cartoons meet reality.
Yeah.
And back then, that was really hard to do because you were still. I think Roger Rabbit is mostly hand drawn. I know there's some 3D. I think there's some 3D, early 3D in it, but I believe that's mostly hand drawn. And I think the same thing with Space Jam. And I mean, looking back at that, that's a kind of a feat. But I mean, in the modern day of where every movie's a big CG mess of green screen, and you have you have a movie like Ready Player One where it's 90% CG and then like 10% live action stuff. It's Space Jam wouldn't work in a modern day, I guess, theater climate, not theater climate, but movie climate, because it's not as much of a spectacle as it was back then.
Well, that's the thing. It's interesting you bring that up. I don't know if you did it on
Oh,
purpose, but the fact
no,
that
I was just sort of
because
rambling.
of that what you just explained that like the seeing people with cartoons doesn't really that's not impressive anymore. This one does go for that for more of that Ready Player One vibe
Oh
where
no.
they're like tumbling through, they call it the Warner Brothers server verse. So there's like
Oh.
planets for all the different things that they own. So like when real quick before that, the setup of this movie is hilarious to me because
Oh, do tell.
LeBron James's character arc is that he's a bad father. And it is so fucking funny to me that LeBron James got the call and they're like, "Yo, do you want to be the guy in the new Space Jam?" And he's like, "Hell yes, I do." And they're
Of
like,
course I do.
"Fantastic. You're going to be playing yourself and you're going to be a horrible father who doesn't pay attention to his kids because he's too concerned with basketball." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm down.
He's like, I already do that.
That's
Fuck yeah.
me. It'll be easy."
I don't even have to. I've been method acting this one for like fucking 13 years.
Oh man,
I'm your guy.
I'm sure he's a fine
I'm
father.
sure he's a good. I know. I've seen him like with his kids. He is a good father, but
But
I just like to rag on him because he's a bastard.
yeah, so then once the actual Space Jam-ness starts, he gets trapped in the Warner Brothers server verse by Don Cheadle and just sort of like tumbles through different Warner Brothers properties. It's in the trailer there. And then he ends up in Toon World where he meets up with Bugs Bunny, and then they go to recruit their basketball team. And LeBron James is like, "I want to get Superman and the Iron Giant and Batman." And Bugs Bunny is like, "No, we're just gonna do Space Jam again." Like, I don't think you know what movie you're in. So they travel
Nah,
to like
LeBron. Nah, no. We're not putting the Batman in this one.
no. So they go
You
to
seen
different
that Zack Snyder
places.
shit? Just put Batman down right now.
They go to all these different worlds. Like, there's a scene in The Matrix. There's a scene in Mad Max Fury Road. There's a scene in like the DC animated universe.
Oh.
But everywhere they go, they just run into Looney Tunes characters, and like those are the only people they're able to recruit.
See, that sounds fun. At least was that part
Yeah.
at least fun? Okay, that's
It was
good.
a little. I think a lot of people saw that as like, oh, it's like Ready Player One, which was bad. But I think it's kind of a fun
No,
premise
that's
because of that twist of like he wants it to be Ready Player One, but it's just Space Jam
but it's
again.
just Space Jam again. Yeah, okay, that sounds kind of cute. And
But then you get to the basketball, and it's like an hour-long basketball game, like in movie time,
oh
and
no,
it's not good. Like it
an
looks fine.
hour?
Yeah, the movie's 2 hours long,
Oh
and
my God.
almost an hour of it is the basketball game. Which I get because it's a movie about like the Looney Tunes playing basketball, but it's just not very interesting. Like it does not. The entertainment does not last for that full hour.
I bet it doesn't. God.
I guess, but maybe it's just because I've never been a big Looney Tunes guy. So watching all these like rabbits and ducks and shit fly around the screen and roll around in balls of smoke is just not very interesting to me. I'm like, all right, I get it.
You get it, yeah.
Yeah. And there are
Like,
there's some funny jokes. There's one scene where it's at halftime during the game. They're very dejected because they're losing, and Sylvester the cat comes in and he's like, "Don't worry, I've got the perfect pick me up. I found Michael Jordan, who was the guy from the first Space Jam."
is Michael Jordan in the movie?
Well, yes, but so they're
Oh
like,
no.
it has this big build up to Michael Jordan coming in, and then it's Michael B. Jordan, the
Oh, that's
actor.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's a
That's
funny
pretty
little
good.
joke, and he's like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I was just grabbing some popcorn.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it does have like good jokes. I just think it should have been shorter, like closer to 90 minutes. I don't think this should be a
Yeah.
2-hour movie and take all that time away from the basketball game. And I know that's weird to say about a movie that is a basketball game, but
Well, even like sports movies usually is like the first 2/3. Yeah, you know, regular 3-act structure would be like first act, like build up the stakes, second act, establish the team, third act, play the game.
yeah. And that's
Um,
exactly how this goes.
But I can't imagine the third act being an hour long.
Yeah. It's like the
That's-
final battle of Endgame except CG basketball,
Man,
which
so
might have
CG.
made you like Endgame. If that's what it was, if they have the big portals scene and then they they hit the court against Thanos and his army.
That'd be hilarious, dude. That would have been horrible. That would have been a terrible, terrible decision. But I would have loved it as a huge fuck you to everybody in that theater.
Oh, I would have loved it. I would have been into it. I enjoyed Endgame, and I would have been into that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people that would have pissed off a lot of people though.
It's all been a
I
prank.
can't, dude.
Like
I
they play a
would've-
basketball game, and then
Oh,
Thanos looks
wow.
directly into the camera, and it's like it's just a prank, bro. 10 years of movies, billions of
Thanos-
dollars.
Thanos turns. He uses the fucking Infinity Gauntlet to turn himself into Michael Jordan, and they just play basketball. And they don't get like basketball players that are good at it. It's just the real actors playing basketball against real Michael Jordan, and he's just beating the shit out of them until
man.
Captain Marvel shows up with a really good slam dunk, and then the game changes.
That's what they should
At
do.
halftime, she shows up after halftime, and she hits a crazy like half court three, right out of the get go, and Thanos is like, "Oh fuck," and then they start winning.
I was thinking while I was watching Space Jam, because Ready Player One wasn't really tied to one specific studio. It kind of had stuff from a lot of different things, just because of the book.
Oh, just because of the book. Yeah. Have you ever read the book?
I have not. I've heard it's
I
boring.
have. I didn't think it was boring. I enjoyed it. But it's just sort of it's an 80s hodgepodge
Yeah,
of this author that was just looking back at things he liked and was like, what if I built like a little story around these things I enjoy? And you could tell he really liked them, and the way he integrated them and everything.
yeah,
But I've heard the movie's kind of a mess.
yeah. But this is like it has those Ready Player One elements of like, oh, look at all these different things that you remember.
Yeah.
But it's all specifically things owned by Warner Brothers. And it's got me thinking, like, are other studios gonna start to do their own Ready Player Ones? Like, is Disney gonna do one?
Well, they already do. It's every Avengers movie is their Ready Player One.
Well, but they own like a lot more stuff than just Marvel.
That's true. Yeah.
Although I don't think so. Like that middle sequence of Space Jam where they're like going to the different worlds is kind of like cute and funny, but then the finale of the movie does not use that premise very well, because when they're playing the basketball game, they are surrounded by like a bunch of different Warner Brothers characters as like the crowd, which
Oh.
sounds fun, but they're like the worst Party City costumes of these characters that I've ever seen. And because
Really?
so they're like standing on the sidelines And because the basketball game is an hour, it's like every
Oh
30
God.
seconds for an hour, I'm distracted by like an awful Pennywise costume or like Jim Carrey's The Mask or The Joker or Catwoman, and they're all terrible. I'm like, where did like this movie looks great. Like all the CG and like the 2D animation all
Oh, I'm
looks
sure.
fantastic. So did they just skimped out on the costume budget?
They had like 10 minutes to film those scenes, and they were just like, call up cosplayers and have them here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they were
It's
just sort of, people were throwing shit together at the last minute.
even like CG characters though, because King Kong is there, like sitting in the back. So
Really?
there's like big characters, but
Huh.
they didn't just like use the Kong, like Godzilla versus Kong asset. They like remade a new one that looks worse. And I'm like, why did you do this? Because I think they
That's
reused
great.
others. Because in the background, they're never in focus because they're kind of far back, but you can see the Scooby Doo gang, and I'm
Oh.
like 90% sure that it's the same models from that movie Scoob that they just like
Oh.
dropped in. But
That's weird.
so yeah, like I don't know why they would do that for characters that are in the background out of focus the whole time, and then not for like King Kong who's huge and right there. And they even make a joke about it because the villain repeats that King Kong ain't got nothing on me line, and then Kong gets all upset about it.
Oh god. They should
Yeah,
have just used some guy in like a King Kong suit.
just a gorilla suit. That at least didn't match the rest of the stuff.
Just some fucking dude. He's like,
That gorilla suit thing from SpongeBob. Just do
yeah, 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 yeah.
that.
And then when he says King Kong ain't got nothing on me, he stands up and flips in the bird and walks off.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't he? He flips someone off in Godzilla versus Kong, doesn't he?
Maybe.
Did I make that? Am I imagining that?
I was referencing a movie they watched on Best of the Worst recently, where there was a dude in a gorilla suit that flipped the military the bird, but
Hell
you know
yeah.
they very well could have. I'm gonna look that up. Hold on.
Look it up. Check it out.
I'm looking this up right now, cause you got me wondering.
I don't know. I don't know why I have that image in my brain.
Godzilla middle finger scene. Oh my god, you might be right.
Am I right?
Hold on. Oh, it seems like it's from Godzilla King of the Monsters. Oh, I think it's just the scene where I think the little girl from Stranger Things gives a character in the movie the finger.
Hmm. I think I just dreamed that.
But I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the Best of the Worst thing, and you maybe I think I
I've
like psychically
implanted the
implanted
memory.
that into your brain
I
because I was
inception
thinking
you.
about this is a dream. It's all been a dream.
I also thought I saw someone talking online about how Zendaya voicing Lola Bunny was distracting because she like sounds different from all the other tunes. But I didn't really get that because everyone's bad in this movie. And I'm not saying that to like be mean. I have a theory. And so my theory is that
Let me hear it.
obviously LeBron James is not an actor. He's not going to be great. So I think they sort of like intentionally directed all the actual actors in this movie to be worse. That way
Oh,
LeBron James would feel more in place.
oh no.
Like all so not the voice actors who voice all the tunes do just fine. Like they do exactly what they always do. But the thing is I feel like other than Bugs Bunny, most of them barely talk. Even Lola
Really?
Bunny, who is like arguably the second most important of them all.
Hmm.
It's really
Strange.
weird. I
I
did hear though that sorry.
no, you're good.
They had like the actual actress for that they usually use for Lola Bunny like record all the dialogue and then just threw it all out and hired Zendaya to like redub it, and that's
You know,
shitty.
I was gonna bring that up actually. I had seen a very very similar thing.
That's awful. But that's the thing is like it didn't even matter. Like if I hadn't known ahead of time, I probably wouldn't have even recognized her as Zendaya. Like, it was just for marketing purposes.
Oh, absolutely.
Awful.
I wonder if this was like. I wonder if this was like a pre-COVID thing that maybe got lost to all that.
I don't know. Was
I
this?
thought I remembered seeing something about it beforehand, but I could just be misremembering. Maybe there was. I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But
I don't know if this is one of the ones that got like. I mean, I'm sure it got pushed back. Everything did, but I
oh
don't know if
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like they did it before COVID and then had to do more stuff.
I'm not sure.
Because I think we were talking the other day about what was it? Oh, Free Guy. That trailer for Free Guy that
Oh
uses
yeah.
Deadpool and Korg. So if this
Yeah.
was like they had most of it done pre-COVID and they were just trying to like retain interest, that could explain the Zendaya marketing stunt.
Yeah. You know what, too? I think I remember. This is a little off, but I think I remember seeing like a poster for Free Guy when I was still working at the theater back in like right before COVID happened.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it was about to come out. It was one of the ones that was just like a week or two away,
oh,
and then all the theaters shut down. Same deal as No Time to Die, the next James Bond movie. That one was like a few days from releasing when
oh
theaters shut
yeah,
down, and it's still not
and it's
out yet.
still not out.
Insane.
Huh?
I and I that's we'll talk about the James Bond movies another day. I have a lot of thoughts about those, but
Oh,
some
oh,
other time.
little uppity about the James Bond
I'm
flicks,
not
eh?
up. I have thought Daniel Craig. I guess real fast. Daniel Craig has been saying for the past like 3 of them that he
Oh, that he's
doesn't want to
done.
do them anymore. But
They
now
just
he's
keep they
like,
keep.
I'll probably still do it. But like, come on, man.
I've seen. This is a. I've seen 2 James Bond movies. I saw Skyfall and Casino Royale.
Those are the good ones.
Oh, and
Yeah,
that's it.
of
Yeah, that's
Daniel
a.
Craig's run, those are the better ones. They've been alternating because Casino Royale was the first, and that one's really good.
I thought Casino Royale was the first.
Yeah, and then they
Was
did
there one?
Quantum.
Was Quantum of Solace? I think
Yeah, that was the second one.
it was not so good.
Not so good. The story is okay, but it's like directed very strangely.
Hmm.
It's a lot of like close-up shots and shaky cam, and
Oh,
people don't like the villain. And it's a direct follow-up to Casino Royale, which is pretty unprecedented for James Bond movies. They're usually like
yeah, they're
one-off
usually pretty
adventures.
disconnected, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's a whole thing with the Daniel Craig era is that it's all connected because even Skyfall, which is the one that stands on its own the most, the one right after that, Spectre, was like, no, actually, the Skyfall villain was working for the Spectre villain. It's all connected.
The Spectre villain was oh, what's his name? The voodoo guy, wasn't it?
Blofeld?
Blofeld? I don't know. I remember there being like the voodoo villain on all the posters for Spectre. I don't know if that's his name or not. I don't know
Voodoo
James
villain.
Bond very well.
I don't know nothing about no voodoo villain.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm thinking of something totally different. Maybe
might
that's
be.
in this one that hasn't come out yet. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a guy. It's what's his face from Bohemian Rhapsody? He was Freddie Mercury.
Oh, Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. Yeah, he's gonna be the villain of this one.
Oh, what am I thinking? I don't know. I might just be off it.
Thinking of the Princess and the Frog.
That's probably it. Real quick, I haven't
Yeah.
seen Skyfall since theaters when it was out, and that was a while ago.
Uh huh.
So I don't know. I might not enjoy it anymore, but I remember it being like a pretty well grounded action movie.
Yeah,
Pretty
the
solid.
the Daniel Craig movies abandoned a lot of like the gadgets and goofiness.
Yeah, I remember the only gadget from Skyfall was like that gun that would only shoot with his handprint on it or whatever.
Yeah, and
And
that
even
only
that was
comes into
sort of
play.
downplayed.
Yeah, it only comes into play one time when one guy gets his gun, and it's like, all right, I guess that's what that was for.
That was probably like a thing where it's like, oh, why don't you just shoot him there? And they're like, Q gave him a gadget. We'll go film that now.
Yeah, he gave him a gun, special gun. That makes sense because well, the scene where Q gives him the gun, I just recently rewatched these. They're just
Oh.
sitting like in the like on a bench in a random room of like the British Museum. So
Oh,
that
that's right.
totally could have
Yeah.
just been like an
Oh
insert
yeah.
scene, and it's just the two
Maybe
of
they
them.
just had. Maybe they just had that action scene that didn't make sense, and they're like, "Wait a minute, we forgot to film the fucking thing where Q gave him the gun. Quickly to the British Museum."
To the museum where we
And they're
have
like,
all of our shit that we stole from non-white people.
"What? No, that's not. No, not in the James Bond. What?
No, go to the painting section, not the racist stuff.
No, go to the paintings. Put some Van Gogh up. Don't put up the artifacts
Have them talk
that were
about a
plundered."
boat. This is not. This episode is going to be titled something like Loki finale. And we're talking about James Bond for 20 minutes.
We're a cool 36 minutes in, and we
Yeah.
have not mentioned Loki or Black Widow once.
I
which is
guess
what
we
set
should
out
move
to do.
on. Well, you want to
Oh
do
yeah,
Black
we,
Widow
we
first?
can move on. Yeah, we can do Black Widow.
What did you think overall?
It was all right.
Yeah,
It
a
was
very average
standard.
film, I
Yes.
think. And I'm usually, you know me, I'm a big
Oh, you're a
Disney
big Marvel
shill.
guy.
Yeah, so
You
I'll
they
defend a
pay
lot of
you.
the Marvel movies. They pay me.
I've
got
seen
the money in the
checks. It's
pocket.
incredible. I'm a little offended you haven't shared any, but I guess it's because I don't show.
Yeah,
But that's fine.
you post too much Endgame slander online, and
Oh,
and
that's true.
Mickey doesn't like that.
Mickey hates that shit.
Mickey
I'm
hates you,
blacklisted.
dude.
I'll never get invited to the grand opening of Avengers 12, where it's all the little kids. That's the little kids Avengers movie.
Young Avengers.
Young Avengers. That's it. Not the, what if they just called it Little Kid Avengers?
The little kid Avengers. They're small now.
That can be a what if. What if all the Avengers were children?
I'm sure they've done something like that in the.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
That was an episode of the Justice League cartoon where like a demon turned them all into children, and I didn't like it because they were
know
kids and like Wonder Woman. That's a really good show, but they were kids
I've
and
heard
Wonder
that's a
Woman
good
kept like making eyes at Kid Batman. I'm like, oh jeez, oh man.
That's rough.
Oh, speaking, rewind real fast.
I'm
I
rewinding.
forgot to mention this.
All right.
Speaking of making eyes, LeBron James and Lola Bunny had
oh,
really
no.
weird chemistry in the Space Jam movie. There were several moments where I was like, is LeBron James gonna fuck the bunny? Is that what we're... He's got a wife in this movie.
He's a bad dad to his real kids, so he's gonna have some cartoon ass kids. He's gonna make up for it with his kids with Lola Bunny.
He's gonna cheat on the girl from Star Trek Discovery with Lola Bunny. She plays his wife in the movie.
Oh.
She was the best actor, and even she wasn't great.
Was that the lady that played Michael Burnham?
Yes,
Yes.
she's got. I like her.
I have limited Star Trek Discovery knowledge.
But yeah, so
But
those are my
I
final
know of
thoughts.
Michael Burnham. Okay, yes. Final thoughts on that.
LeBron James
and-
fucked the bunny.
Yeah, and I know that the little kid premise is also an episode of the Next Gen, I think, called Rascals. Star Trek, another Star Trek.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, that's all. That's all. We can move on now.
It's
No
all
more
right.
Star Trek. No more. We're done being nerds. We're gonna talk about Marvel now.
We're gonna talk about Marvel like
We're talking about
everyone
Black
should
Widow.
all the time.
Yes, of course.
Mickey better be
Uh,
signing that check.
Mickey is smiling ear to ear right now. Those big fucking disgusting, those filthy mouse ears.
Oh, I love him. I got two sets of Mickey ears from Disney World on my shelf.
I have one set of Mickey ears that used to be on my shelf, and it was R2D2 ears.
Oh, RJ has the R2D2 ears. I got the C3PO ones our first time so we could match, and then our second time I got the Chewbacca ones because I use
I
Chewbacca
gotcha.
as my profile picture on a lot of stuff.
That you do. That you do.
Anyway, Black Widow.
Black Widow.
That's how I think that's a good encapsulation of how average this movie is that we
Yes.
can't even stay focused on talking about it.
One thing I would like to say about Black Widow real quick. I saw a thing on Facebook today. It was a promotional picture for Black Widow. Like a poster ad.
Yeah.
But instead of featuring Scarlett Johansson, it featured the lady that played her mom in the movie. I forget what that lady's name is. And it said Black Widow. And I saw one of the comments on Facebook said, I thought Scarlett Johansson was the Black Widow. And I think that encapsulates everything about that movie pretty well. I thought Scarlett Johansson was the Black Widow, but apparently there's like 800,000 of them,
Oh yeah, I know.
like sleeper cells.
I I was not a big fan of that because, like, I mean, obviously we always knew that
It's
she
dumb.
wasn't the only one, but this
Well,
movie
but
was
I always
like,
figured
there's like
like
100 of them, and they're all better than her.
I figured like Black Widow was like a code name for her being like the best of the best, which
Yeah,
is why she can hang with the fucking Avengers who are literal superheroes, and
yeah,
she's just some Russian lady who got brainwashed into murdering.
yeah. As you do.
Yeah, like you do. I liked Taskmaster. I thought that was cool.
For the 5 seconds that he's in the movie.
Yeah, a little underdeveloped.
Oh man,
I
am I
really
gonna be
like.
harsher on this one than you are? Have we found
I have
one?
I have a very milk toast approach to this movie.
That's okay.
I liked David Harbour a lot. He was
Oh yeah,
wonderful in the movie. Um, I was a big fan of Florence Pugh. I
me
believe
too.
that's how you say her last name. She was great in the movie. She's just a wonderful actress.
Yeah, I'm excited for her to like continue to be a part of it.
Yeah, she's great.
I thought she was the best part of the movie.
Oh, easily. She had like a character arc
She did.
where Black Widow really kind of didn't.
Yeah, because I don't know.
She did, but like I don't know. It was more impactful.
Yeah,
I think what was her name, like Melina? Was that Florence Pugh's character?
Yelena with a Y.
Yelena. I think her character arc was more impactful than anyone else's, really.
Yeah, and I think maybe
And
that's
she,
they decided to focus on like really setting her up.
yeah, which is fine by me, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
in a way, sorry, it's just in a
no,
way,
you're
it's
good.
I guess kind of lame for the people who had spent all this time asking for a Black Widow movie to finally get one, and then it's not really about her. But I never really cared whether or not they did a Black Widow movie. I mean, I like her,
No,
but
she's
I
not
wasn't
a very interesting.
losing
It'd
sleep
be
over
like
it.
it'd be like doing a Hawkeye movie, which I think they're doing, aren't
Doing a
they?
Hawkeye TV show.
TV show. Okay.
But it's based on a very, or probably, as everything in the MCU, loosely based on a very good run of Hawkeye comics.
Okay.
So I've got hope.
Well, I mean, so far their TV shows have been pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't understand why this wasn't a show. I feel like this could have been much better if it had been a limited run show.
that was
That sort of
my biggest thought going out of it was that it should have just been one of the Disney Plus
could have been a
shows.
show.
And
Yeah.
again, like that does seem shitty to the people who had spent so much time asking for a Black Widow movie, but everything in this movie feels so like underbaked that I think if you gave it the runtime of one of the shows, that it would have turned out a lot
it would have
better.
turned out much better. And I think it's the most MCU movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know if they just had like Scarlett Johansson for like another movie, and they were like, we'll make you one real quick.
yeah.
Pound one out. You don't have to work too hard at it.
We'll shoot this
You'll
out.
be in. Yeah, we'll get you your movie. We'll set up something. Your contract will be fulfilled. You'll get your back end. It'll be okay.
And maybe that's part of my disappointment with it is this was just supposed to be like some movie that came out like between Spider-Man Far From Home and I don't remember what it would have been at the time, but something else. Like it was just
Yeah, another.
another movie.
It is very much just another MCU movie.
Yeah. But now, unfortunately, like, and this is totally out of their control, it came out, it's like the first Marvel movie in like almost 2 years, and it came out during the run of Loki, which is some of the best Marvel content that we've
yeah.
ever gotten. So
We'll get to that.
stakes were high for Black Widow when it was not created under a stakes are high
No
mindset.
It was very much created as a reintroduction into. Okay, not every movie is going to be Endgame. Here's
Yeah.
what we're going to do for the next couple years, and then we'll start building them again.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, overall, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I my thing with it was I saw it at 9:40 at night.
Hmm.
Um, and I forgot that I had to work the next day, and so I got out of the theater. I got home at like 12:30, and I was like, man, I have to be up at 5:30. So this movie got me like 4.5 to 5 hours of sleep before a long work day.
Uh-huh.
So that definitely impacted my feelings on it. But looking back on it, um, it wasn't bad.
It
It
wasn't.
was
It was
it was
inoffensive,
yes, it was a very safe Marvel movie.
and it set up stuff that they need going forward. I guess with
Oh yeah, I
her whole family of characters.
yes. I'm not so interested in the mom character so much, but more so David Harbour and Florence Pugh's characters I would like to see
Yeah.
a lot more of. The mom character I feel like was also kind of underdeveloped. She was just kind of like she was there in the beginning, and then you don't see her again until you get to the house. And then when you get to the house, she's like, "Well, look at this pig, and I'm evil. I fucked up this pig's brain so bad I can tell it to stop
I
breathing.
fucked this pig.
But now I'm the hero,
Yeah,
and I'm
and
helping
then
you.
Black Widow's like, but why? And she's like, you know what? You got me.
You know what? I don't know.
I guess I'll be
'Cause
good now.
that's you know what? I called the secret evil organization on you, but now let's take it down."
Yeah.
Despite me having worked for them and built their mind control technology for them. I feel bad about it, I guess. Whatever.
I
Let's
was
get to the
not
end.
I was not a big
Let's hurry
fan of
up.
the whole mind control thing. I felt like it was kind of cheap to be
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
oh, because like with Black Widow's backstory, it's like she was traditionally brainwashed,
Yes.
and then it like
Yes.
took effort for her to break out of that, and then not even that, but also like we see in the movies that she realized in Winter Soldier that she just traded like conditioning for one regime for conditioning for a different one, and
Mm-hmm.
that was an interesting story. But then this one is like, oh, all the other Black Widows are actually like perfectly fine people. They're just all under some sci-fi brainwash, and you gotta shoot them with the goo.
Yeah, you gotta spray them with the red gas goo, and then they're fine.
And then they're cool, and then they're just like
Yeah.
totally normal people, I
Yeah.
guess, because not a
They don't have to
single one
deal
of
with
them
it.
is like breaks free of the mind control and is like, you know what? I'm actually still about this. Every single one of them is like,
It's like,
I'm
what
perfectly
the
good
hell?
now.
They're like, what? We were evil? Oh my god.
God damn, dude.
Let's get the fuck out of here now. I expected Taskmaster to stay. I expected Taskmaster to like get the goo. Spoilers, I guess. We can move into spoilers
Oh
now.
yeah,
I expected Taskmaster, the guy's daughter, to like get the goo in her face and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm just evil." And I
I'm
expected
just
them to
evil.
fight. But there was no fight. She was also mind controlled.
Yeah, there was no fight even like before, like literally
No.
speaking, because it like in the marketing, I was like, oh man, Taskmaster is like the perfect villain for a Black Widow movie because she's all about
Yeah.
like fighting skills, and Taskmaster is the best at that.
Yeah.
Um,
He traditionally the character like literally has like a program that memorizes fighting skills and
in the comics, it's
like
an innate ability that he has.
is it?
Yeah,
I've only ever seen. I don't really read a whole lot of comics.
that's okay. I'm
Um,
just
I'm too
making sure you
too
know.
busy watching. I'm too busy watching Pink Flamingos to read comics.
Everyone's got their
Um,
interests.
yeah, apparently mine are weird sex weirdo movies.
Sex
Um,
weirdo movies. What is he? I'm gonna look up what they call
Taskmaster.
the ability that he has.
I'm not sure, but I know in the Avengers game, I think it's a program too that he runs in his little visor thing, but I'm not sure. Because he's also in the game, you fight him as Black Widow, and then he's never seen again in the movie because he's just an early game boss that gets tossed to the side, who could be really cool, but much like everything else in that game, they fumbled it.
Yeah, and then that's what happens here too. Is like I was saying, like it seems like a perfect villain for Black
Perfect
Widow
setup.
to fight, and then Black Widow just like doesn't fight her.
No, in the first fight scene between them, she she leaves Black Widow to go get the case of red goo,
Yeah.
and then doesn't get the case of red goo, or maybe does,
No, when
because I don't remember.
Black Widow took the goo, left the case.
Oh, that's right. Took the goo, left the case.
Uh, photographic reflexes, I guess, is just what they call
Photographic reflexes.
the ability.
That's fine. It's
Yeah,
it's
and
cool.
that it was used. You talk about the Avengers game, and I think that suffered from the fact that the Spider-Man PS4 game, like very recently before that, had a
Oh yeah.
much better version of
Oh yeah.
Taskmaster.
That's right.
Because he's like a series of boss fights where you can never beat him the same way twice, which makes perfect sense. But then in the Avengers game, you just beat him up. Like his ability doesn't
Beat the
actually have
shit out of
anything
him.
to do with the fight.
You go invisible as Black Widow and you beat the shit out of him,
Yeah.
and then you never see him again.
Not a good game.
No, we can have a whole discussion about that game one time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wasn't a big fan of like the main villain of this movie either. The what's his Dreykov.
Dreykov.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah, like he was a villain.
Yeah, he's a villain. He's gone now.
I think
They immolated him.
yeah. The guy, it's the guy
gone.
from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that plays him. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember that movie. I
He's
haven't
like
thought about
very
that movie in
British,
years.
and he does not sound Russian in this movie. He sounds
Was he
British,
supposed
but
to be
he's supposed
Russian?
to be Russian. Yes.
Oh my god. I thought he was just like a British guy
Yeah, he
in
was
Russia
attempting
doing
like a
evil
Russian
things.
accent, but
Oh boy.
yeah, exactly.
David Harbour did a better Russian accent. And
Yeah.
his was goofy as fuck. Florence Pugh did a better Russian accent, and she's also very British.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was supposed to be. I thought he was just like an evil British guy.
Evil Russian guy.
Those fucking Russians.
Those Russians. They're back. They're the bad guys again. It's the 80s
Listen,
all
man.
over again.
It's always those damn Russians.
It's always those damn Russians.
The Cold War is not over.
No.
It is just
They got colder for a while.
it warmed up a little bit for a minute, and now it is colder than ever. That's about all I have to say about Black Widow.
Yeah, I don't just really middle of the road. But and that's the thing. I think most Marvel movies don't get worse than middle of the road,
No,
which
yeah.
I do think is a testament to the franchise.
Oh yeah, all as much as I've shit on Endgame, 90% of it is just joking around.
Yeah,
I like it. I do. Endgame is a kind of a bloated mess, but I still like it.
yeah,
Infinity War is much better
I agree.
in my opinion.
I love Endgame,
But
and I would agree Infinity War is better.
Infinity War is, I think, my favorite Marvel movie to date. Just because of how well done it was.
Oh yeah, I think I'd probably agree.
How well done and how dark it was.
Yeah,
That was very dour movie. But the Marvel movies, you know what you're getting.
yeah,
At the very least, you're getting a fun action movie, and at the best, you get like a weird space drama, like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
yeah.
You get like a weird family space drama, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Marvel's that Kevin Feige or Kevin Feige, is it?
Yeah.
I always want to call him Kevin Feige because I always think of Paul Feig, who did he did Bridesmaids and Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, a
One of
pedigree.
one of those movies is pretty good, and it's not Ghostbusters.
Oh man.
But we
gotta
can.
watch
That's
that one.
another one. Oh god, I saw that one in theaters.
We'll talk about him for whenever the new one comes out.
Oh, Afterlife comes out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie. That one looks all right.
Yeah. I think it'll be all right.
I don't know why they're doing it, but it looks all right.
I my excitement for that one was diminished a little by the one trailer with the mini Stay Puft
Oh
dudes.
yeah.
I was like, oh, this looks bad.
Oh.
I thought it was just a commercial.
yeah.
Like, it looked that bad. So that's got me a little worried.
no.
But the rest of it looks fine. So I'm hoping that it's not like all bad.
Oh, now I'm worried again.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
shit.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
We'll get to it. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
get to it. We'll see. It could. The Stranger Things kid that's in it, pretty good.
Yeah.
Finn Wolfhard. All the kids are probably gonna be fine because kid actors are good now.
They are good now.
Far gone are the days of the '80s where the kid actors sucked a dick.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's just because
Yeah.
back then they just like got kids.
yeah,
They're
just
like, hey kid,
like,
you want to be
they're like,
Anakin Skywalker?
you want to act? And the
And he's
kid was
like,
like, yeah,
"Yup."
I want to be in the movie.
I was in Jingle All the Way. I can handle this. But now they're
for
like,
every
kids
for
are
every
actors.
yeah, for every Macaulay Culkin, there's 800,000 horrible kid actors.
yeah.
Yeah, but Black Widow was fine.
It was
If you
fine.
haven't seen it, go see it just to see a movie in the theater again.
Yeah,
See it in the theater.
it was definitely a good
Um,
time.
And when you see it in the theater, know your projector is not having an issue. The beginning of the movie is just very dark.
It's really dark. I thought
Really
the same
strangely
thing.
dark.
Because I saw it on at one of the theaters in the chain I used to work at, and
That's
they
what
have
happened to me, too.
screens. This might let some people know what chain it was.
Ooh.
They have screens called ultra screens, and I've noticed working there that some of them tend to be pretty dark. So when the movie was dark, I just thought it was that until you texted me and were like, "Why is this movie so dark?" And I was like,
dark.
"He's not seeing it on an ultra screen."
Wait a minute. This is just fucking dark. That was an odd. I guess I kind of get it. I get it, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
at least let me see
Brighten
what's
it up
going
just a
on.
little bit. Brighten
Yeah.
up a little bit. Turn up the contrast slider just like a couple hairs.
Just a couple little bits, couple units.
Just a little bit. I want to see a little bit more David Harbour in the funny T-shirt.
Yeah,
Turn it up a little bit.
I don't know.
There
There was that
I
whole-
guess we can move. Oh,
Real
go ahead.
fast, there was that scene where she was watching a James Bond movie, so it's connected. It was appropriate that we talked about it for so long.
Oh yeah, she
Gotta
was. She
have
was
that in
living
there.
She was living in the trailer for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I really like that scene because she's like
I thought like the
saying
whole
the
point of the
lines.
movie could be her like trying to keep a low profile in like a town
Yeah,
or thing, and like just like living in a trailer in the wood, like just as Black Widow on the run. But no, they fell into a big science fiction plot.
yeah, which is fine. Like, I guess
But, yeah,
confronting
it's-
her
again,
backstory.
At the end of the day, it's fine. Go see it to see a movie in the theater again. I did. It was fine.
It has some
Go see it.
interesting characterization for Black Widow,
Mhm.
and it introduces a lot more interesting characters who will be in the universe
It
going
introduces-
forward.
Two really interesting characters that I can't wait to see more of.
So it isn't important to see, I think, if you care about
Yes,
this
the
universe.
most important thing that happens in the movie happens right at the very end with the end credits scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is weird
but
to see.
now I suppose we can.
Sorry, you keep trying to move us on, and I keep having
good.
more thoughts.
You're good. You're good. No.
Just
Go for it.
the post credit scene is a lead in for the Hawkeye series, which is like,
Is it? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I suppose it is.
which is another
Oh,
reason
yeah.
where I'm like, this just should have been a show.
It should have been a show, and that is the big takeaway for me. Really, is it was fine, and it should have been a TV show because it would have been way better.
Yeah, given more room to breathe, more character development.
Yes.
Black Widow could be in it
Yes.
more.
Yes.
She seems to get sidelined anytime the rest of her family are around, which is fine.
'Cause they're more interesting.
They are.
At the end of the day, it's to quote Carrie Fisher in the promotional material for The Last Jedi. It's a movie about family.
Yeah,
I guess.
it is.
I don't know.
I believe it.
Yeah, I suppose it is. But
Technically, all Star Wars
Yeah.
is about family,
yeah,
found or otherwise.
about one family. About the Skywalker family.
About
All
the
of them. They're all
Skywalkers,
Skywalkers.
baby.
And we'll get into that another day.
My favorite one, Ray
When I
Skywalker.
drink- Like, ugh.
Every time I retweet a
When I
Ray
drink
fan cam, I
myself
make
to
sure to
death.
call her Ray Skywalker, just in case someone gets
You're
mad
a
about
bastard. You're fucked up. I'm getting mad about it now.
it. Get mad, get mad.
You fucker.
Time to talk about Loki. Bring that anger, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about Loki. No, I don't have any
I
anger
think-
for Loki.
So I actually think we need to talk about the last 2 episodes because I think the last time we recorded
Yes.
was with 2 left.
We talked about we talked about the first. I think we talked about them briefly. I think now that the show is done, we can talk about it more in depth.
As a total package.
Yes, as a whole, I really liked the show. I thought it was great up until about the last 5 minutes at the end, and then I was like, maybe not even 5 minutes, maybe like the last like 2 minutes at the end. When a little bit disappointed I went, but overall, still a really good show. I was big into it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's
the last episode. The
You
last
go.
episode up until like the last 2 minutes, I really, really loved because of the villain and the way that villain is portrayed.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. It's great.
yeah. I think it's
It's great.
like I mentioned earlier. It's not only the best Marvel series so far. I think it's just one of the best things Marvel has put out in their universe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's crazy to me because when I think back to like when they announced all the Disney Plus shows, this was one where I was like, a Loki series? Really? But I
Right?
think- yeah. They just did something really interesting with it. And I need to look up her name because it would be
The
an
lady that played
injustice.
Sylvie?
No. The woman that directed it.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Let's see. Kate Herron. She directed every episode, and
Kate Herron.
yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, this show was like mostly her idea because the pitch that they gave when they announced all the series was it was going to be like an anthology series about just random shit that Loki did visiting Earth like throughout history.
Oh.
And then when she came on and was like given that premise, because that's all they had apparently when they announced it, she was like, well, what if instead we do something interesting?
We did something good.
So she took that premise of like Loki through time and like twisted it into a time travel thing, and suddenly it's like the greatest thing ever because she was able to just build everything out from there, and presumably like a writer's team.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to like lay it all on her
They had-
shoulders.
No, I'm sure there's. I've never really looked into this, but I'm sure there's like a team of people at Marvel that deal with just like lore stuff and connecting things.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they have like a separate team of writers that's like, okay, here's what we've been given. How can we work this in with everything else?
Yeah, I know that for
I'm
Star
sure
Wars, Lucasfilm has the Lucasfilm Story Group who does that. So presumably Marvel has some sort of unnamed entity that does the same thing.
I'm sure they do. It's Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey himself sitting behind a
Mickey
desk.
himself. He's sitting in Kang the Conqueror's office, and every shelf is a different property they have. And he's looking through all the lore, and then there's a tiny shelf with 2 little books on it that's just labeled Tron. And they're all dusty because nobody cares about Tron.
Oh man. Except for the roller coaster, which is apparently really good,
Yes.
and they're building a copy
good.
of it in Florida.
You know what? One cult classic movie and one pretty enjoyable movie and a good roller coaster. That's all they need.
That's all you need.
That's it. Just don't do anything. That's all you need. A really good score by Daft Punk. On the shelf with the 2 lore books is a copy of the score by Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Vinyl. That's framed above the shelf. That's labeled Tron, and then behind that is a bookshelf with Um, yeah, that Mickey Mouse does all that. Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen head manages all that. Um,
Oh damn.
yeah. But the Loki show,
Yes.
I I was not expecting to like it as much as I did at all.
Me neither.
Um, because Loki throughout the movies was always just he was kind of like sort of a joke character always. Like he was very much the butt of a lot of jokes
Yeah.
in the Thor movies. And I guess he was kind of menacing in Avengers, but I don't think that anybody thought the Avengers were going to lose in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like ever since the first Avengers movie, when he sort of became like a fan, kind of like a fan favorite character, he was just always sort of around doing little things and being sort of goofy and weird. And this gives him a lot of really, really good characterization.
Yeah.
Um,
I think.
and
Oh,
I remember thinking right out of the first episode, I was like, okay, this Loki is the one from 2012 or whenever the Battle of New York was.
yeah.
He doesn't know about anything. He's not going to be. It's sort of weird to like start over with a character that you already know. So having him watch his whole characterization and arc up until the moment he dies, having him see his own death, is a wonderful way for a kind of a new character to catch up with himself
Yeah.
and see like, oh, this doesn't turn out well for me if I continue down this path of shitheadery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this doesn't go well. I end up fucking choked to death by a big purple guy.
Yeah. And I think an important element
And I
of
thought
seeing
was...
his future is that period between Thor 2 and Thor 3 where he's like disguised as Odin. So like he sees that he gets what he wanted. He is like sitting on the throne of Asgard, and then he loses it all and dies anyway.
Yeah, it was.
So I think that's a telling.
Yes.
And I think by the end of this series,
Yes.
he is a better person than he was by the end of the Infinity Saga. And I know that this is kind of jumping to the end, but like the very end, but the moment at the end of the last episode where Sylvie like pushed him through the portal and he's sitting there like crying. Something I thought about.
There crying.
Yeah, is in the past, and this is gonna make me sound like one of those Marvel stands on Tumblr, but in the past, every time Loki has like had his heart broken, he reacts with anger. So like in the first Thor, when he learns that he's not Asgardian and that his father's been lying to him, he like screams at him, and then he comes up with this scheme to
invade Asgard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then so like Sylvie breaks his heart at the end of this show, and he sits there for a minute and like lets it sink in, and then he gets up and he goes, and he's immediately like trying to do the right thing again.
He's trying to do the right thing again. Yeah.
So I think he is definitely a better person now.
Oh, absolutely. It's a wonderful character moment for him.
Yeah. Shows how far he's come.
Yes, in 6 weeks.
They
did more for him in 6 weeks than they did in like
12 years.
8 years. Yeah. And that really is a testament to how wonderful the show is. And I guess you could say a similar thing with Falcon, who is now Captain America.
Yeah.
Kind of the Winter Soldier, who's now the White Wolf, is it?
Yeah, that's what the Wakandans call him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's gonna call himself.
I don't know if that's his official name. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bucky.
He's
just Bucky at this point.
He's Bucky.
They did more for him in those 8 weeks than they had in years.
Yeah.
Which is great. Which is a wonderful thing with these shows. It gives you time to get better familiarization with these characters. It's great.
And it on a certain level it's kind of like playing catch up, because a lot of these characters were side characters for so long, but now all of like the main characters are gone. So we're doing all of these series that are developing them more fully in such a short amount of time, so that going forward we feel the same toward them as we did toward the previous Avengers.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's great. Oh, I'm a big fan. Um, yeah, and of course the show is still very goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of goofy moments in it. Um, I think in episode 5, when he meets all the other Lokis that are living in the void,
Mm-hmm.
there's the scene where there's like the 4 main Lokis that he travels around with, and then they're
Yeah.
invaded by like a clan of other Lokis, and that whole thing is a little goofy, but it really redeems itself right at the end, where they have classical Loki do a wonderful self-sacrifice moment,
Yeah.
and right at the end, it's a wonderful. I think episode 4 overall was my favorite, but I think episode 5 has like like one of the better moments where classical Loki sacrifices himself by creating a fake Asgard
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, which is great.
I think 5 is my
And I
favorite.
just like that's fair. I liked I forget what that actor's name is.
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant. That's right. That's right. He was great in that
He was awesome.
very strange, very strange comical role. He's wonderful in.
Yeah. I think
And I
it's
like
all
that the
very
show sort of. Oh, absolutely. I like that the show sort of gave Loki broader power too. Like he's not just able to do like little tricks, like illusion tricks anymore, I guess.
good. Yeah.
Like this proves that Loki can like go somewhere and be a very much more powerful than we've seen before. Because I definitely think that we're going to see Loki develop that power of illusion that classical Loki had, and Sylvie's power of being able to kind of like mind meld with somebody. I forget how they describe it.
Enchanting.
Enchant. That's right. That's right.
Like Minecraft.
I think that's yes, just like in Minecraft.
Just like Minecraft.
Just it's a wonderful little story about Minecraft, Steve.
Sylvie taught Loki how to put Unbreaking 3 on his diamond pick.
I thought I forget what it was called, but like the thing that lived in the void that ate timelines was very cool.
Alioth.
I love the design of it. Alioth, that's it. I love the design of Alioth,
Yes.
where it's like this, just a cloud of evil with like a deer skull. It's such a wonderful design.
It is.
There's a lot of it's great. I liked that nice moment they had on that doomed planet right before they got swept up by the TVA again,
Yeah.
where they were just like sitting there resigned to basically like, wow, well, we're fucked.
We're gonna die.
You might
as well smooch a little.
We're fucked here. Might as well do a little bit of kissing right here.
Little bit of kissing.
Just a little bit, just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough to make the timeline all fucked up to
Yeah.
get us saved.
That's what you need.
That's what you need.
We were right, by the way. And I think I remember last time
Were
we
we?
talked. Yeah, we talked about how some people were just completely in denial about the Loki Sylvie thing, and we said that is where the show was headed, and we were mostly
Yeah.
right. They don't.
Yeah, I'm sure we were wrong about certain things.
Oh, probably. I know that
I remember.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I remember saying that I thought that Tom Hiddleston Loki would sort of bow out at the end of the show, and it would just become like Sylvie as the new Loki.
Yeah.
Which is clearly not what's going to happen.
I
was
sort
wrong
of
about
saved
that.
myself because I was going to posit a theory that turned out to be incorrect, but I ended up not doing it because I think you told me not to because I was basing it off of like information that one of the actors said. So I guess I can say that now. Because it wasn't entirely incorrect. So I think it's Tara Strong who voices Miss Minutes said in an interview before the show started that Miss Minutes was gonna like get her own character arc, And then after like 4 episodes that she was barely in, I'm like, well, starting to think maybe she's gonna have something to do with like whoever's at the top of this. Um, which was true, but I was going to sort of extend that to saying like maybe it was some sort of
Like sort of she, like that was like somebody projecting that character terribly
yeah,
strong.
yeah. But nope, it was
Nope.
Jonathan Majors, as they call him, he who remains,
Yes.
but it's Kang.
He who remains.
It's a
Kang the
version of
Conqueror,
Kang.
which is very very cool.
Yeah, and
I loved Jonathan Majors in this role. It's so well done.
yeah, he's
He's
fantastic.
such a great villain, and I love this whole episode. Him hamming the fuck up
Yeah, it's
the whole way.
like 80% of the episode is just him talking, and yet it's like
Him
captivating the
talking
whole
right at the
time.
camera. It's great. It's great because he's just sitting there fucking with them the entire time
Mm-hmm.
until the very end when he's not anymore. What now? And I like that he I mean, he said he didn't know what was going to happen, but in the back of his mind he knew that in some form he would be back, and he was right.
Yeah,
He was entirely right, which is great. It's a wonderful wonderful villain,
yeah.
someone who, not to parrot like Thanos, but someone who is apparently literally inevitable,
Yes.
which is great.
It's crazy because like this Kang himself was not very scary, but it was like written
But
and
you
acted
oh,
so well that just the
oh yes.
idea scared me. That he's
Of
like
a
just a
yes.
man, but so
He
far
had
beyond
he had
everything
like
else.
he had a couple moments where you could see like how scary he could potentially be. Like you could see like the whole time he was sort of putting on airs. And there
Yeah.
was a moment when I think he was talking about like basically he was saying like the end justifies the means, and he started to get like a little bit angry, and you could be like you could really see how he was like just a total fucking control freak, power tripping maniac
He is
for
unhinged.
just a moment,
Yeah.
and then he pulled back, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the calm collected one.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's this next psycho gonna be like? And that's fucking wonderful.
And it made me
That's awesome.
I had a moment during that scene where I was thinking about like how scary the idea of a more evil version of this guy could be, and I was like,
yes.
how the fuck is Ant-Man gonna fight that guy?
He's not. He's gonna get squished. He's gonna get murderized.
But okay,
Paul Rudd's gonna look right into the camera and go, "Ugh," he's gonna get squished.
do you know about that, right?
No.
Kang the Conqueror is the villain of Ant-Man 3.
What?
Yeah, that was announced back when they like announced all those Disney Plus shows and stuff.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was.
Is
it was
that
back
do you
then?
think that's gonna change? Maybe.
No, I think that was my guess, and this could be wrong. Come back to this and tell me how wrong I am in a couple years. I think maybe the villain going forward isn't going to be like a Kang. It's going to be like a few, and maybe Ant-Man is going to fight one who's like not quite as powerful as one that like all the Avengers will fight. But
I got you.
they did specifically call him Kang the Conqueror in that announcement, so maybe he will be like the Kang. I have no idea.
How I interpreted the ending of this show was because obviously you see Loki runs back into the TVA, and where the Timekeeper statue used to be, like the 3 statues, it was just a statue of Kang.
Yes.
And that's how. So I interpreted it as that's Kang the Conqueror. This one now is the Conqueror because before he was still Kang, but he was putting on airs. He was putting up a front and saying, "Oh, it's the TVA. He's working in secret in the dark to do all this stuff."
Yeah.
Not because he's this big bad guy. I mean, he is a big bad guy, but not because he's sort of looking to conquer, but he's just trying to keep things in balance. But this Kang is probably going to be much more upfront and be like, "Yeah, I conquered the timelines. Fuck you, come at me."
Fuck you.
And I really hope that Jonathan Majors continues to play this character throughout.
Yeah,
because he is wonderful.
I think he definitely
and they canceled
will.
Lovecraft County, and I'm pissed.
It's Lovecraft Country.
Country. I thought it was county.
It's country.
Is it country?
Pretty sure.
I believe you. It is country.
It's
Why
country.
did I think it was county?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I always, when you texted me about it, I just
I've
assumed
just
you
been
were
saying it
always
wrong this whole
misspelling it.
time. I've just been saying it wrong this whole time then.
Oh no.
But still,
Oh no.
they canceled that show. Wonderful show.
Yeah.
It's I'm glad to see him again.
He's
He's
good.
a great actor. He's awesome.
Love him.
He does a wonderful job here. And I hope we get to see more of him than we saw of Thanos in his big build up.
Yeah. And I don't, like I said, I don't know if he's going to be like the big villain going forward.
I figure he'll probably be like the big villain of like
Phase
I guess
4.
the next phase 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, phase 4.
But I like that he's not just Thanos again. Because I know a lot of people were talking
Yeah.
about, like, oh, do Galactus. And it's like, oh, you mean another big purple spaceman? Like, I know that Galactus and Thanos are different. Don't at me. But, I don't know. I want
I think
a villain that's just different. Like, behaves differently.
yeah, and Kang clearly behaves very differently.
He does. And I think the fact that
It's
we'll probably get to see multiple versions of him will really help with that, like, distinguishing him. Because
Yes.
they could all behave slightly differently, even if they're all evil.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, we did still see a different version of Thanos in Endgame, but he was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
His the only thing different was instead of killing half, he wanted to kill all.
Yeah. He's a bit more of a dick.
Whatever. Yeah, he was 50% more an asshole. Same motivations, same shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Just kill him and get it on with. Murderize him.
So, I've seen online a lot of people comparing Sylvie killing Kang to Star-Lord messing up the plan to beat Thanos in Infinity War. And I don't think they're actually similar at all.
I haven't seen that, but I also disagree.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that Kang knew that his time, that Kang knew his time was up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew that another Kang would arise, so he didn't really give a shit. That's why he was just like, yeah, come fuck me up. Come stab me. See what happens.
Yeah. I think, because people are comparing it to that because, like, I'm seeing people say things like, Sylvie broke the timeline, or Sylvie fucked everything up, and I just don't think that it's that, like, cut and dry. I think
No, God, no.
I think that both Loki and Sylvie, like, had a point. Like, I can see both their perspectives.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely both did.
Because
100% they both did.
I totally see Loki with, like, well, if we kill him and we, like, bring the multiverse back, we could be opening the door up to something worse. But Sylvie is like, well, things are already really bad. These people have hunted me my entire life, and they're killing people, like, every second.
Yes.
So I don't think it was actually, like, Loki was right and Sylvie was wrong.
Absolutely not. No, they were both right in a way.
Yeah.
Which makes that decision more interesting.
Yeah, and it makes them, like,
If there's
fighting
a cut
over
and
it
dry
more interesting.
right and wrong. Yes. If there's a cut and dry right and wrong, it's boring.
Yes.
Not boring, but I mean, like, bringing up the Star-Lord thing again, like, literally, if he hadn't slapped him in the face because he was mad, they would have gotten the gauntlet off of him. It would have been fine. They would have ended it there.
Yeah.
The snap would have never happened. Nothing. That was the wrong decision. And it was the wrong decision in the favor of the more interesting way. But when there is a decision of right and wrong, there is always one that is much less interesting. But when there are two right options, both of them have very big potential to be interesting.
Yeah. And it's really good from a character's perspective, because we talked last time about how the two previous shows just ended in, like, a big Marvel punch-up where people are shooting lasers and throwing shields and shit. But this show just didn't do that at all. The big finale is three characters sitting in a room talking for 40 minutes. And
And then like a 2-minute fight scene that has an interesting twist at the end.
they
And it's
smooch.
not just a, oh man,
They smooch a
we put
little.
the villain in the, yeah, they smooch a little. And it's not like WandaVision where it's like, oh man, we put the villain in the big box, the
The
town
big
box. Now the
box.
villain's stuck there, and they didn't. It's not like Falcon and Winter Soldier where it's like, oh, well, really the villain was with them the whole time.
Yeah.
No, a clear decision was made that had a huge impact
Yeah.
and is actually interesting,
And there's no
and
like,
that's great.
yeah, it's not, I don't know. Even the outcomes aren't entirely clear because like
No,
part of the reason they're disagreeing with each other is because they don't know if Kang is telling the truth. And
which is another awesome layer to the whole thing.
yeah,
Because I think he was mostly telling the truth
yeah, I would agree.
up until right up about the end, where he sort of laid it all out for real and was like, okay, no more bullshit. If you want to kill me, you can. But here's what's going to fucking happen. And he
Hmm.
was totally right. And I don't even know if Sylvie knows he was right yet.
Yeah,
Because I think she's still just sitting in that room and hasn't been able to see, oh, it's a TVA. Now instead of the timekeeper, there's fucking Kang.
yeah.
And guess what? You fucked. N- oops.
Whoopsie. Oops, all
Whoopsie.
Kang.
We fucked it. Oops, all Kang.
I
The timeline is just a big bowl of Captain Crunch. Whoops, all Kang.
I also would like to note for all the people making memes out there that Sylvie did not start the multiverse. Mobius and Hunter B-15
Oh.
did. She just killed
Yeah.
Kang to like stop anyone from stopping the creation of the multiverse.
Yeah. And I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess technically the multiverse is always there. It was just being cut.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is the one timeline. But now,
The one.
obviously, there's several thousand branches that we've seen.
Yeah.
And that's also a more
Could be anything.
That can be. It could be anything. It's
Could be
great.
a what if. Could be a Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Could be a
It could.
Mark Webb Spider-Man.
You know what? Disney said, Spider-Man 3 wasn't all that bad. Bring it back. Let's
Do it
make
again.
Spider-Man 4.
Spider-Man 3, 4.
Spider-Man 3, 4.
Because
I'm talking. I want to see Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4.
Well, there's
That's what I want to see.
there's
That'd
rumors
be sweet.
because
Oh fuck.
if Spider-Man No Way Home is a Spider-Verse movie, which the more and more toys leaking information make it seem like that's more and more the case.
The more and more that Funko Pop keeps fucking itself in the
It's
ass.
not just Funko Pop. The new thing is Hot Toys have been like leaking information for Spider-Man like the last couple days.
I'm genuinely amazed that anyone still does shit with Funko Pop with how frequently they accidentally leak shit by being like, "Oh, here's these toys coming out for this big movie event coming out.
Back
Look
in
at
the
these
day,
toys of things that are going to be in the movie."
excuse me. Back in the day, I was in like a Books A Million, and I saw a Giant Man Funko Pop like a couple weeks before Civil War came out, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like they just spoiled this huge moment, literally, from like the climax of that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, it's not direct spoilers, but do you want to hear the Hot Toys thing? It's something that
Sure.
I think you already mentioned from the Funko Pop.
Sure.
The Spider-Man suit. I think we talked about it actually last time with the
Spider-Man suit with the Doctor Strange logo on it.
Yeah, with the magic stuff. There was promotional images released of a hot toy for that suit, and people noted that in the two images, the backgrounds, which are all like out of focus, but they look like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man universe and Mark Webb's Spider-Man universe. with one of them being very like sepia tone and like orange,
Yeah.
and the other
Same way
one being like dark with a lot of like bright blues and stuff.
Yes. And that's cool. I like that they can sort of go back and be like, that all happened, but it was in a universe on top of this one or whatever.
Yeah,
And it's real, and it can connect stuff now. Because
it's
that's
all
cool.
real. It all counts.
Super comic books are ridiculous and goofy and fun, and they're allowed to have fun with these strange concepts.
It's also
Canonized fan four stick. That happened too.
canon. It's canon now.
It was shitty and horrible, but that happened too.
Um,
I hope that when they do inevitably in Fantastic Four, there's like a 10-minute scene where they're just sitting down watching fan four stick and shitting on it. Yeah. Or
That's
somebody
the
points at
post-credit
Sue
scene.
Storm. Somebody points at Sue Storm and they're like, "Oh, is that a wig?" And she like pulls up. And it's like, "No, it's my real hair."
it's my real hair.
She
I wouldn't
looks
wear a
right
wig.
at the
That'd be
camera.
stupid.
She looks right at the camera, or she goes bald. She goes bald in the scene. Like
Goes
she gets her
bald.
hair burned off by the invisible. No, she gets her hair burned off by Mr. Torch or whatever the fuck.
The Human Torch.
The Human Torch, and she comes in and she's like futzing with a wig. And he's like, "Why are you wearing that wig? Can't you just make your hair like?" Because her thing's illusion, or she can do something. And he's like, "Can't you just make it seem like you have your regular hair again?" And she throws the wig off and makes her regular hair. She's like, "Oh yeah." Great little joke moment like that.
Great.
And it's a
I don't
big-
know if that's
big
how her powers work.
Oh, it's
I'm not
something.
gonna
I
lie
saw
to
the
you.
Fantastic Four movie where they had the guy in the purple suit and she made her pimple in wedding. Not the guy in the purple suit, the guy in the thing suit. The rubber suit. The thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Silver Surfer, where she made her pimple invisible
Yeah, but that's just
by focusing on it.
invisibility.
Oh, that's true. Whatever. Damn it. Now my joke doesn't work. I wanted to wear a wig. Wear a wig, make a joke about the wig, move on. That's all I
Okay.
want.
Okay.
I'll buy 8 million Fantastic Four t-shirts if that happens.
You know what I really want?
What do you really want?
I've seen other people express this desire. So, Black Widow didn't really have any moments where people cheered. There were moments where people laughed, but no one ever went like woo. I want Spider-Man to have a moment, if indeed those hot toy background art are to be believed, and they like not only have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but like visit their universes. I want there to be a scene where they're like falling through a portal or whatever, and then it like cuts to black, and then it like fades in, and it starts playing like the Danny Elfman Spider-Man theme,
Yeah.
and everyone would be like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
I want that. I want that moment,
Yeah.
and it's
I
possible.
want to
man.
see. I want to see Green Goblin again. I want to see Willem. Just because I love Willem Dafoe.
There were rumors that he was going to be in it, but I think once they like announced Electro and Doc Ock, people were just saying that like everyone was going to be
Oh,
in
did
it.
they announce them?
Yeah, like the
know
Electro.
it.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx as Electro and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock
Oh,
are
that's
official
good.
announcements.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get like a little. Just have him like laugh in the background of the scene. Give him get Willem Dafoe in there for 2 days to record some lines. Do something with him. He's great.
I hope there's a scene where everyone like points, and we'll be. This is December, so I'll be back. We'll be seeing this one together.
Yeah.
But I hope there's a scene where it's like a big fight and everyone points and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Green Goblin, he's here." And then it cuts around and it's Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin.
Dane DeHaan. Fuck that guy.
I hope they do that.
Filthy. I want it to be
He's
Dane DeHaan, but
filthy.
he's wearing the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, and he's on that glider. Filthy, disgusting Dane DeHaan.
Filthy. Oh my god. I
'Cause
haven't.
he looked gross in that movie.
Yeah. He had
I'm not
goblin
saying Dane
disease
DeHaan
or
is
whatever.
filthy. Yeah.
Um,
Dane DeHaan's
that-
he's like a 4'1". He's like 100 pounds soaking wet. I could pick him up and throw him like a football.
the movie's bad.
And he's the big he's one of the big villains because whoever wrote that movie was Alex Kurtzman,
Yeah,
because
baby.
Alex Kurtzman's a fucking moron.
Oh shit. That's the guy you want to give
That's
Rise of
the guy you want
Skywalker
to give
to.
Rise of Skywalker to.
Amazing
Yes.
Spider-Man 2's own.
Did he do? He didn't do Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, he did.
Was that him too?
Did
You're
he?
shitting.
I might be wrong.
I don't.
I just
I don't
because
think
he's
so.
worked with he works with J.J. Abrams a lot. I just assumed he brought him along. We're finding out.
I think that might have just been Abrams. I'm
'Cause I
also
know that-
looking this up.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I am mistaken. It's just J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. Batman v Superman zone.
Ugh.
Another good choice.
Another great choice for your final star. Ugh, whatever. We'll talk about that. We'll do like a 3-hour picking apart why everything in Rise of Skywalker was wrong.
That'll just be the Rise of Skywalker commentary.
Ugh,
We'll be
God.
pointing at everything like the Once Upon a Time meme. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're like, that's the moment we hate.
Yes. And then what I want to see, I want more. If there is a scene in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man universe, I want them to bring back like the extra cutaways where it's just like a lady pointing in the sky going, "It's Spider-Man." I want that. I want let them each stylize those parts. Bring in
Yes.
Sam Raimi, let him stylize that. That'll be great. That'll be wonderful. What was his name? Mark Webb. Let him do his little bit with James Garfield's
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Jesus.
James Garfield was a president.
He was Bring James Garfield in.
Resurrect President James Garfield and have him direct a portion of the new Spider-Man.
If Disney has the money.
They got it. They got resurrection money.
They got resurrection money. Yeah, that would be neat. I would like that. It probably won't happen, but you never know.
Yeah, I would.
You never know.
Well, because I'm thinking like, we've sort of, I guess, pivoted into talking about Spider-Man now, but that's okay. The title No Way Home, like, sort of leads me to believe that they will be like going to other universes.
Yeah.
And like that'll be the problem. But the few like promotional images they've released also show that it's like Peter, MJ, and Ned. So like, do they all go to other universes?
There'll be some sci-fi thing where it's like
They
Peter
all go.
MJ will walk in on Peter and because MJ knows, doesn't she now?
Yeah, they all know that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, they'll be hanging out in Ned's apartment. Ned'll be doing computer nerd shit, and a portal will open. They'll be sitting there like, oh, we should test out your Spider-Man ability. Check out this new web slinger I made. It's this, and this. And then MJ will show up and be like, oh, I'm Zendaya. I'm here too.
I'm in everything now.
I'm in everything now.
I was in Space Jam.
There'll be a part in the movie where they're watching Space Jam 2, and Zendaya will be like, oh, that Lola Bunny is real great. Too bad she fucked LeBron James.
Fucked LeBron James.
They'll be doing something like that, and then they'll fall into a time portal device. Or Doctor Strange will show up and be like, "You're good. You gotta see this, Spider-Man." And
Spider-Man.
I guess you weirdo little kids too. You can come along too. That's fine.
Doctor Strange is gonna be in like fucking everything,
which is good. Fuck yeah! I love
like
Doctor
him.
Strange. Doctor Strange's movie was great.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense that if you want like the next phase of the MCU to be where shit gets weird, Doctor Strange is where you go.
Doctor Strange is the ultimate shit gets weird.
The guys that wrote those comics like originally were doing so many drugs. So it is the weirdest shit in maybe any comic universe.
Doctor Strange is if LSD came to life.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I'm into it.
I'm so excited.
Apparently,
whoa.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Apparently, Loki might be appearing in Multiverse of Madness.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I like it.
It does make sense.
I wonder if it'll be that Loki that we know, or if it'll be Sylvie.
Yeah,
because it could be, or it could be any number of Lokis, which is another interesting angle they can bring to the table now. That anyone could be any character.
Yeah,
it could just be an alternate timeline character, which is awesome because that means more weird shit, and Marvel movies thrive on weird shit.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see a lot of weird shit in the future. I'm a proponent of weird shit. I love very strange things.
I know.
Yeah, you know. go back an hour and 40 minutes ago when I was talking about Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
I like weird shit.
Weird shit.
They should give John Waters a Marvel movie.
They shouldn't.
Wow, that's where we disagree.
No. No. No.
John Waters will have the first NC-17 Marvel
Oh, man.
where they I don't even know. I don't know what they would do.
But yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, what comic character would he do? And I can't think of a single Marvel character.
Howard the
that would
Duck.
be
Give him a
NC-17.
NC-17 Howard the Duck movie.
Oh man,
He could run that shit. Oh man.
could not possibly be better than George Lucas's Howard the Duck movie, where he fucked Marty McFly's mom.
That would very much be in the John Waters. Except you would see it all. You would see Howard the Duck's disgusting testicle.
It wouldn't be tastefully shot,
No,
silhouetted
it would
behind
be,
a sheet.
No, it would be a flat shot of them having real sex. It'd be weird CG Howard the Duck's duck wiener.
I'm not a fan of where this is going.
No, you don't have. You're good. This is one of many points where we differ.
That's okay. That's why we do this. That's why we do
That's fine.
what we do.
Yes, that's why we work so well together. Is because as much as we have in common, which is a good dynamic for two people to have.
Yeah.
And that's that. That's
And
it.
that's that.
Go home. That's it, folks. I think that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
do you have anything else you'd like to say? Any closing remarks?
I don't know. I'm trying to think, because we like pivoted into talking about Spider-Man. I'm trying to think if there's anything about Loki that I like forgot to talk about. No, I think I'm good. I think we got it.
I think that's it. That's it.
Thanks for
If
listening.
you've been listening this far, we greatly appreciate it because we talked about a lot of random shit
Yes.
in this episode that was meant to be focused on Loki and Black Widow.
But that's what you signed up for when you clicked the video.
If you didn't like it, just don't watch it anymore. If you didn't like
you
it,
don't like it,
go away.
don't watch it. Forget the past hour and 43 minutes.
Yep.
Go home.
Go home. Go home and load up your copy of Pink Flamingos.
Don't do that.
The family copy of Pink Flamingos that you watch every Thanksgiving with Grandma.
I implore you to not do that.
Shit! What a goofy fucking movie. Basically, the takeaway of this episode is I am pro Pink Flamingos and Brandon is anti Pink Flamingos.
I'm happy to be there.
That's fine. I am very happy to be pro Pink Flamingos.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I am. It is a perfect example of weirdos getting together to make a big fuck you movie, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy that John Waters made this horrible, disgusting, filth-filled mess, and it made him famous. And it's great.
Did it make him famous?
Oh yeah, Pink Flamingos is the movie. Pink Flamingos, he set out to make as shocking as a movie as he could, thinking it would get him famous, which is an insane thing to think back in 1972, and what's more insane is the fact that it worked. That was John Waters' big break, was Pink Flamingos. And I'm not even lying. The band, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, this man was in. He had a Pink Flamingos director John Waters had a cameo in an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, where Alvin makes reference to having seen Pink Flamingo as a young chipmunk.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not lying. You can look that up, and it's real.
I believe you.
And I don't know if you've ever
I wish
seen a
it were
picture
not
of John
so.
Waters. But he looks like a sex weirdo. He's not a sex weirdo.
That we know
He's
of.
just well, I'm pretty sure something would have come out at this point because he's been working steadily since like 1968.
Sometimes it never comes out.
That's true. I like to think that John Waters is not a sex weird, despite looking as much like a Hollywood sex weird. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Yeah, we appreciate it. If you're still watching,
Yeah.
if you're not still watching, you won't hear this, so I won't address you. And
Fuck
that's
those
that.
guys. If you're still here,
Fuck the people that. Yeah,
fuck
if you're
the
still
people
here,
that aren't still listening, right?
if you're still here, go in the comments and tell everybody that stopped listening early to go fuck themselves. And make sure
It's
that you
worth a
subscribe
like.
and hit the bell.
Yeah,
It's worth a like.
It's worth a like because
Yes.
we're all still here. It'll
We're
be
all
like
still
we're a little
here.
club, a little thumbs up club.
Yeah.
And then smash
A
that
little-
bell
Smash the bell. Hit
harder
the subscribe
than
button.
LeBron James smashed that rabbit.
Smash Lola Bunny. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Harder. Yeah, harder than LeBron James smash. And harder than I want to destroy every copy Samurai Cop 2 that has ever existed and will ever exist. Because fuck that movie.
Yeah.
That's it.